And we are live.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to the Nerdy News Hour. It is like the news, but for nerds. As always, I am joined with awesome nerds, and I'm going to take this off because honestly I can't read. I can't read shit when I have that on. But yes, welcome everyone to the Nerdy News Hour, whether you're watching us live or whether you're watching it recycled. You probably noticed it's just me and Dan today. We're running just the two of us today. Justin couldn't be here. He sends his love. He's working on some awesome video game coverage as always. He's got a Persona 5 review coming out.
He cranks that stuff out, man.
He does crank that out, and he loves it. And honestly, his Mass Effect video is doing really well, actually. His review, so I was pumped about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is cool. He's also got a video about possible downloadable content, characters that we might see in Injustice 2, and we are all super pumped about Injustice 2.
Count the days.
So, yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. But of course, I'm here with Anime Dan Thomas. Dan, what is going on, brother? How's the week been for you?
Ups and downs, but pretty excited, going on a big up, because tomorrow the new set of Pokemon cards comes out. I'm totally wrapped up into that, Guardians Rising, all that jazz, so.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, too. Speaking of, it's just a week of Guardians. Holy shit, what do you know?
It's Guardians for days. Maybe Guardians of the Wills if you're out there, Star Wars fans. And by the way, everybody that watches the show, I always go on my phone to try to invite people in here. So if you see me on my phone, it's not that I'm disengaged. I'm actually trying to invite people in here to check this out, which I'm gonna start doing right now. But so obviously it's May the 4th. There's some Star Wars stuff going on. Let me make this little announcement dilly right here. So I work with a guy chef, Jim Birkbeck, and he does woodworking and stuff like that. And if you've watched the YouTube channel, you've seen some stuff. I've been plugging it. I did the thing with James. That actually won't be coming out till tomorrow. I did a podcast with him where I plugged some of Jim's stuff. But if you can see this, check this awesome piece out right here.
What is that made of?
It's wood.
Oh man, that's all wood.
It's all wood. Can you see like the side? It comes out.
That is nuts.
It pops out.
I just couldn't even tell. I thought it was maybe like a shadow box kind of guy or something, but that is just a wood carving. That's super cool.
Yeah, it is quite awesome, actually, and I actually really don't want to let this one go, but I thought, it's really, really cool. It's May the 4th, so if you are watching this, and whether you're watching it live or later, or on YouTube, actually, I'm going to open it up to the whole gamut. Please just drop any comment you like. Some people have already dropped comments. They're already entered. All you got to do is drop a comment on here, and I'm going to randomly pull a name, probably sometime during the weekend, ship it out next week. So you'll get this awesome Darth Maul totally free of charge, just to spread some of that Star Wars love that we all have. Feel free to, drop a little comment action in here, and we'll get rolling on that. But let us go right in to our first topic. And it is actually not going to be Star Wars, but it's very, very similar, actually, because Guardians is like Star Wars, and James Gunn is a huge Star Wars guy, so this is really, really cool. But also, Guardians of the Galaxy does come out this weekend. This is the sequel to the highly acclaimed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. It's finally here. Now, word on the street is that this is a really fun movie that continues the story of the hilarious and lovable characters we came to know in the first film, but it does fall short of the original's glory. For myself, I tend to think of Volume 1 as like an absolutely incredible, next to impossible to reach height. So I'm not really that upset if the sequel doesn't quite get there. Quite frankly, I'm just looking for some Baby Groot. I'm looking for some wacky Rocket Raccoon and tension breaking from Drax. Mix that in with some visually stunning science fiction effects, and I'm super good. I think the level to which people are going to be able to enjoy this film will be in ratio with their expectations for it. So Dan, take it away, brother. What are your expectations for Volume 2? What are you looking for when you go see this movie?
Guardians 1, maybe my all-time favorite Marvel Cinematics movie at this point. I absolutely loved Guardians. I thought that the characters were perfect. They really worked together well. And after Guardians, you could feel it in Suicide Squad, how hard they were trying to capture the interplay between those characters.
Right.
the scene where they break out of space jail. Spoiler alert, but it's been a while. The second one's
Right.
about to come out. Spoiler alert. They get trapped in space jail and they have the zany plan, and that scene is borderline perfect, I think.
Right.
They have the comedy wonderfully stretched throughout it. It culminates in that bit with the leg, with the guy's prosthetic leg. That was hilarious. You had
Right,
Groot
yeah.
just reaching and ripping the thing out of there. And then Drax playing off of Gamora. She's going to die in a room full of idiots. Just every character, when they were on screen, behaved perfectly according to their trope. They bounced off each other well. You were never like, Rocket Raccoon wouldn't say that. What the hell?
Right.
It was so consistent. And then, of course, the action and explosions, lasers, off the charts. It was great. It was a wonderful space action romp kind of thing. I'm super excited for part 2.
Yeah, man. Dude, couldn't agree more. It's the first film really is magic. Like, and I think part of that magic too is the fact that we're introduced to the characters, right? So it's like that's kind of hard to replicate in this one because they're already established and they've probably been rolling together for some time now. So the prison scene is so great because it's the first moment in them being together that they start to formulate a family kind of thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really, really magical. Also, I've heard that scene is actually the first time that the cast actually got to gel. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When they were filming that, for whatever reason,
I wouldn't doubt it. It was so
I
well
know,
done.
right? Like, I mean, you're getting blasted with that orange goop or whatever, you know what I mean? And they're probably in line to do that, and they're probably like, yeah, this sucks, you know what I mean? Like, all of them. So, yeah, that's like that first moment that they all started to mesh, and it really came together. As far as, like, my expectations for this film, I kind of said it in the intro. All I need is a good ride. It doesn't have to top the first one, and I definitely didn't think that I just don't know if it will. But having said that, I still think it'll be better than a lot of comic book films that are out there.
I think so. It's got the strength of the first one behind it. People are really... I think people are hyped about part 2 of Guardians.
I think so, too. I mean, did you see what it did in China over the weekend? It crushed.
No,
I mean,
I didn't, actually.
Yeah, it did like 100. It opened like 103 million in China over the weekend. Like, its international box office is already great. I think it's going to be a big, big hit. Now, the first one was, of course, a huge hit, and people love it. I think this one's going to be just as big, and yeah, we're gonna get rolling on that. I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm definitely excited.
The first film left me with so little to worry about, even that I really don't have too many flags where I'm like, if they do this, then it's I'm worried about that. Maybe the one thing I have like a cautionary vibe about is the baby Groot. I'm hoping that he doesn't steal the show too much.
Yeah.
But I think that they really have an opportunity. All of Groot's scenes in the first one were pretty spot on. It was just like, he did the thing, he smashed stuff, he's a giant tree. If they do the exact same thing but have him come at it from the other end of the size spectrum, he's just like, I am Groot at the right moment. It's going to be hilarious.
I know. There's that was one thing that I did hear that's a little concerning, is that some of the humor in this one doesn't hit, because it's that same kind of stuff, and I can see like a little too much Baby Groot humor or something like that going on. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'll be able to swallow it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be able to live with a little bit of missing here and there.
Definitely, yeah. A couple of off jokes does not a terrible movie make. You can even have a wonderful comedy with a couple of bad jokes. So,
for sure.
An action movie with some snark. Yeah.
Deadpool was like shotgun. It was like boom, 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 just joke after joke. And a lot of them I was like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? But occasionally I'd be like, that's pretty good. And for everyone that's watching, feel free to drop any questions that you have. It's a pretty casual show today, so drop any questions you have. We'll feel free to answer them. Also, if you haven't seen at the beginning, we've got this awesome Darth Maul piece that we're giving away. Much thanks to Jim Birkbeck for hooking us up with that. And all you got to do is drop a comment on the video, and you're entered to win that. Alex Carfelt says there is no such thing as too much Groot. I tend to agree. I've also heard that Baby Groot's kind of brutal in this one, that he actually murders some people, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. That in itself would lend to some comedic effect to see the little sapling just smash a guard like Hulk Loki style.
That was one of the best moments in the first movie when Groot goes into that hallway and smashes all those people.
Like the 9 dudes?
Yeah, and he turns around and he's just like,
look what I did.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's roll into the next topic. We're going to keep it on Guardians. This is a little more news-ish, I guess, and it's kind of interesting to me. So about a week ago, word came out that James Gunn was already signed and working on Guardians Volume 3, which is, like I said, super surprising. It's actually strange for an announcement like that to be made before the current movie comes out. What's even stranger is that over the weekend, James Gunn said that he will also be doing the 4th installment of the Guardians, and that it will be a completely new group of characters. This honestly had my head spinning. I love James Gunn. I love his sensibility with film, but I kind of want to see him branch out. I mean, to be honest, I'd love to see him do a Star Wars film, but I am intrigued by his devotion to this movie franchise and his plans for it as we move forward. So, Dan, I mean, this is kind of a weird thing. So what do you make of James Gunn doing these other movies? Do you think he's going to do Guardians films until he dies?
I don't know about that. I can't really say. I mean, 2 movies I don't think is the rest of his career.
Sure.
But if he might just fall into it. What if he loves this IP and just wants to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. Like, if you're an artist and you want to do Guardians movies, your first one was good enough where I'm going to let you go right ahead and keep making Guardians movies. It was a really early announcement. That's the weird part, is, 2 is about to come out, and we have 3 and 4 confirmed. I kind of wonder, how set into 4 are we? Is there any pre-production already going on for that, or is that just penciled onto the calendar? Could that be pushed or moved?
Right.
Could 3 bomb and change the plans for 4? I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a good idea to do. It sounds like they're setting up for like a trilogy of these original characters, and then number 4 is going to do different Guardians characters. And I know that over the course of their comics career, the Guardians have definitely acquired enough auxiliary members to fill a whole another roster or 2.
Oh yeah.
But at least in my brain, like when I think, who are the other Guardians members? The first 2 are Venom and the Thing, so that might be hard to get into your Marvel Cinematics movie, because I'm pretty sure Fantastic Four and Spider-Man are both the 2 bugaboos.
Right. I mean, there's plenty of flavor there, and James Gunn is a huge 70s comic book nerd. So he is into all of the older stuff. I mean, they kind of did a version of it recently. I think they called it Guardians 3000. There's that character from the future that something Major Victory, I believe. He's got Captain America's shield, which is kind of interesting. Mantis and Star Fox and some of these other characters like that are potentially in we know Mantis is in Volume 2, but they represent that roster, that kind of older roster, and so it's interesting to see that he's saying they're going to be all new characters. Now, a lot of uber nerds have kind of got in there and been like, well, maybe this hints to the fact that the whole MCU is shifting, and this is indicative of what the new MCU will look like, right? Because we kind of covered this last show when we were talking about that. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting. Like I said, I want him to branch out. I think him doing the trilogy is a solid idea.
Yeah.
At the same time, if he's the grandfather of Guardians as we know him for the films, maybe it's okay for him to at least plant the seeds for the 4th one, and maybe he'll produce. He didn't say he was writing, directing, but he's I'm working on it, and here's what's happening. Which to me is well, you're kind of in charge of that. That's, you know what I mean? That's what that kind of means. I do want to address the chat real quick here. First, Alex Carfault says Major Victory is a champ. He also corrects me. It's Starhawk, not Star Fox. Thank you, Alex, for that. Zach Natitian says maybe the new early confirmation is just to build hype for 2. That's always possible. Like we think 2 is so good, we're going to go on and make the next one. I think there's something to be said for that. That's pretty fair.
Could just be a marketing move. 100%.
Right. Yeah, definitely could be. I mean, it's interesting, right? And we're going to talk about marketing moves in a second when we get to Wonder Woman here.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as him doing these, continuing on these films, I mean, look, the thing that really scares me is the Spider-Man 3 effect. I mean, Sam Raimi was on a freaking roll, dude. 1 and 2 were incredible, and then 3 is like so bad I can't even watch 1 and 2 anymore. So it's, to me, like, I worry about that because I think that's what happened. He got burnt out. The studio didn't agree with the directions he wanted to go in. They wanted to do all this stuff, throw all these things at him. And so, obviously Sony's not Marvel, but I mean, what do you think about that? Is that a legitimate concern, Dan? Do you think that it could get burnt out on this?
I'm much more concerned with the second aspect of studio director directions not lining up. Especially, we super vague for 3 and 4. We don't really know when that's going to come out and what the rest of the Marvel projects are going to look like at that time. But I always worry, especially these Marvel films, that they'll over-focus on integrating it into the rest of the canon. So if the third act of Guardians 2 is, like, entirely setting up for Infinity War, like, I'm not going to be as into that as if the Guardians, like, kind of do their own thing. You know what I mean? Like, I would really hate for the very end of Guardians 2 to be, like a camera pan up on the back of Thor or something, and then it moves over and you see Rocket Raccoon with his arms crossed, like real short on the ground, like, what up? Or he says something snarky, like, what's with the hair? You know what I mean? And then it's going to be, because that's just such a long hold. Like, okay, are Thor and Rocket Raccoon just going to stand there staring at each other until Infinity Wars comes out? That's such a long time for nothing to be happening with these characters. That always bothers me when they cut it too hard.
Yeah, it's possible. I think that the third one is actually going to take place after even Avengers 4, unless I'm mistaken.
Oh, man, so the third one's going to be way off.
Yeah, it's like way off. That, and I could be wrong on that, but yeah, it's interesting. Dude, there's so much we don't know about Infinity War. Like,
yeah,
it's potentially game-changing, and, like, look, that gets thrown around a lot as, like, hyperbole and whatnot, but, like, it's potentially seriously game-changing. Like, they might literally reboot, so to speak, the universe.
Yeah.
I know. Look, it's weird and it's tough, but the thing is, too, they got to do something to shake it up. You know what I mean? They got to do something to shake it up at this point. It's getting... Look, we're worried. I'm worried. It's getting redundant, and I love this universe, and I love, playing around in this world. And, look, Guardians 2, I think, potentially, and especially like Thor Ragnarok as well, have the potential to be really fresh as far as what we've been getting,
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, like, I'd love to see more of that and not so beholden to the canon, to your point, because it would appear that Guardians, James said it does not have any Infinity Stones. It doesn't. You know what I mean? It's its own kind of thing. However, I've heard there are 5 post-credit scenes.
What?
5,
like in
dude.
a row, or like on different screenings, or what?
I really
5
don't know.
post-credits?
I don't really know. Do you have to go buy another ticket to watch all of this? I don't know.
That's crazy. We're like 5 1-second credit scene. I don't know. Like,
no,
that's gonna be
like
interesting to see. Pencil that down.
Yeah.
Stay forever.
Right. Stay forever. Yeah. It's kind of interesting stuff. I'm gonna check the chat here. Hoping to see Adam Warlock emerge from his cocoon in this movie. I'll shit a bricks, Zach says. I agree. I'd love to see Warlock. And he was teased in the first one. He's in the Collector's Chambers. I'd love to see Adam Warlock. The big question is, and I want to open this up to the chat, who do you guys think Sylvester Stallone is playing? I want to say it was more or less confirmed that he's Richard Rider, but I could be wrong. Is he going to be Richard Rider, do you think, or what do you guys think in the chat? Who do you think Stallone is playing? And what about Michael Rosenbaum, I think is his name, the guy that played Luther on Smallville? Who could he be in the Guardians movie? We'll open that up to the chat. So I guess we'll roll in. You think that's enough talk of Guardians, Dan? You got anything last things you want to say about James Gunn doing Guardians Forever?
I'm down. Yeah, let's keep the
Okay.
Guardians coming. If the Guardians want to do the Star Wars thing, and every year I get to look forward to Star Wars and then another Guardians movie, sign me up. I'm
I
loving
know.
these sci-fi IPs. And Guardians, honestly, like even if it never touched the rest of the MCU, I would still love it. And it's crazy how popular it's gotten. Because I mean, before we really hit the Guardians wave, and you asked like even maybe like an average comic book fan, let alone someone who's just into these MCU movies, hey, who's your favorite? What's your favorite MCU hero? Or like who are you looking forward to in a movie? Who is gonna be like, oh, Star-Lord? I cannot wait for the Star-Lord and Friends movie.
Star-Lord.
I don't
Right.
think so. I think these guys really kind of came out of left field and grabbed everybody like, wow, these guys are really interesting.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. For some reason this popped into my head too, because Bendis was doing that great run of Guardians at the time of the movie, and this, I believe, and someone should double check me on this, or I'll go research it. They had that group of people from Marvel Comics that were like essentially a board that people sat on, and they advised the movie people. But when Kevin Feige and Ike Perlmutter did their split thing, that whole group was demolished. And I do believe that a lot of the flavor we see in Guardians was like Bendis had some say on that at the time. And now he has no say whatsoever. So I wonder if they like kind of let it loose and do all this. Also, real quick, just because I'm nerding out on this, when Joss Whedon read the script for the original Guardians, he sent it back to James Gunn and said, "Make it more James Gunn. It needs to have more James Gunn."
Oh man.
And so yeah, so that's where some of the humor kind of came out, more of like his flavor. And like, like look, if he's an artist and he feels like he's given birth to this thing and it's truly like in a self-expression, why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep making like I'm good with that. So, all right, guys, we're gonna roll on into Wonder Woman land. Yes, there's a Wonder Woman movie, and it's coming out soon. And if you forgot about that, don't worry, you're not crazy. In fact, Warner Brothers' lack of promotion for the film has actually been a talking point of late. It's seemed really strange the way they have promoted this movie. In fact, I've seen graphics where you can see the amount of trailers and promotion done for Wonder Woman compared to what they did for Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. It's actually quite staggering. It's like 70 to 30. Usually, in situations like this, a lack of promotion could be taken as a very bad sign. This would confirm some rumors I've heard that the movie doesn't really hit at all. To be totally fair, I've actually heard the other side of that as well. It seems like people have really mixed feelings about this film. But to me, there's reason to be concerned. So, Dan, what do you think, man? Do you think that the lack of promotion is an indication of this movie being bad?
Under normal circumstances, I would say yes. They're trying to downplay this. They don't want to cause expectations to rise more and then be like, ah, shit, this movie wasn't as good as people thought it would be. However, I think that the context of this movie has a lot of focus kind of on this pre-promotional material. And I'll break down why. So, to start with, Batman vs. Superman was incredibly hyped up, but as soon as it was, even before the movie came out, it caught an incredible amount of backlash on how the trailers were handled. They said that was too many trailers. There was too much information in the trailers. The trailers made the movie look stupid. So, really, they caught a lot of flack for the promotion they did there, and then the fact that it was a tire fire didn't help in the end. But, that's aside from the point. We're just talking promotion. Number 2, Suicide Squad. Oh, did Suicide Squad have a lot of trailers for it? I wonder why. Because it was made by trailer people.
I know,
Remember
right?
that? The whole thing was cut by a trailer house who made the cool trailer. The trailer was the best part of that whole damn movie. Was the bullets hitting the ground to Queen. So, they've had some big issues with their promotional material kind of doing justice to the movie in their last 2 big releases, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're even like coming up here, gonna kind of bump it a little bit. Like maybe we'll get a great coming soon trailer, like a big reveal kind of a trailer, like a full-on thing to start the hype up right before the movie comes out. And then there won't be so much time for people to really get disappointed if it's not what they're expecting. At the same time,
that's fair.
Minimal trailers, less of a chance for people to be like, oh, you over-promoted this movie. We learned so much, I'm not even going to go see it anymore.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I don't necessarily think it's indicative of the movie being bad either. I actually have a different reason I think they're doing it, and I think it all has to do with Guardians. I think Guardians is a juggernaut, and they know that, and so they're not going to necessarily put out there to the public consciousness that Wonder Woman is coming out when Guardians is this big focus, right? So I think they're going to kind of let the Guardians hype more or less dissipate or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it.
Yeah, right after Guardians comes out, then hit that
right.
Wonder Woman
then
throttle.
Hit it hard.
Yeah, let's see
the
if
thing
even
is,
tomorrow.
Right, I know it might even drop. I mean, there'll be probably a trailer attached to Guardians. You know what I mean? And there was a trailer when I went and saw the press thing of the King Arthur movie. There was a trailer for Wonder Woman, and they've done some spots and everything like that.
Yeah, I see it on my Instagram. It's not like they're not promoting it, but they're.
Correct.
I think the article we're both referring to brought up the official Marvel Cinematic YouTube, and then compared the number of trailers and promotions for each one. And the Wonder Woman one has like 8 at this point, and then Batman vs. Superman has like almost 20 little bits and trailers and stuff. And I think that's kind of what they were referring to, which is definitely true. I mean, they've created less content to promote Wonder Woman. That's a fact. But we really don't have numbers on like how much have those contents been distributed. I mean, they could show the same trailer or poster as many times as they showed the different trailers for Batman and Superman.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's actually a fair point. I'll say this, though. I am concerned. I'm concerned about Wonder Woman. Look, everything that I saw, there's a lot of reasons to be hyped. Look, it's just real. Like, there's a lot of reasons to be hyped about Wonder Woman. But, dude, I haven't heard necessarily great things. And that's weird to me because it's like, how has DC found a way to fuck this up if they have indeed fucked this up? You know what I mean? Like, Wonder Woman not only needs to be good, like they need it to be good, but everything that I heard about it leading up to it was such a good sign. I mean, like I've heard people say, like, if you like the first Captain America movie, you're going to love this movie. The period, aspect to it. There's this new twist to Wonder Woman's birth that they're trying to play up, you know what I mean, which is kind of interesting. And
that's the main thing I'm kind of looking forward to, is seeing the two settings of like modern Wonder Woman and then like Olympian Wonder Woman. That's what I'm most looking forward to, I think.
Yeah, well, I love that aspect, right? Like, I love the mythology. It's really cool. They have an opportunity to tie it into the New Gods mythology too, because with Darkseid and the Mother Box and all these interesting things. Look, they don't need to be beholden to what happens in the comics, but they should use what happens in the comics as a tool. So, like, dude, like, even if they wanted to do something crazy and make her the daughter of Darkseid, like. I would be into that. Like, give me something. You know what I mean? Like, make it have some impact. I need this movie to not suck.
Do you think that that move strikes me as, like, that would be very interesting. Like, the main villain is actually her father. That's pretty cool. But that strikes me as something where the comic book readers are going to be like, that never happened in the book. Did they even read Wonder Woman? Kind of a thing? Like, do you think that would alienate? Is that too extreme?
It's not necessarily too extreme. I mean, like, I'm kind of begging for them to have something really interesting. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, please have something interesting. Like, what would be really cool is, like, okay, so this is actually something that the people on Collider talk a lot about, and I think it's actually an interesting concept. What if the Kryptonians that were traveling to Earth like 20,000 years ago, because we have that ship from 20,000 years ago that was on Earth, and presumably Kara was on there because we have the one thing that they show that's opened or whatever. What if the idea of early man thinking of gods, that those were actually Kryptonians? Like, what if because I'd love for the Amazons and the Atlanteans to be offshoots of the Kryptonians. I just think that would be super interesting. But I don't know if they're going to go that way. It would seem that this is what really frustrates me about the DC movies. The headcanon I make for the movies ends up being way more enjoyable than what they present. And so it bugs me, dude. Like when
a lot of things are more enjoyable than what they present, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, flicking your nose 6 times is probably more enjoyable than a lot of the movies that they have going on. But blasphemy, Alex Carfault says. What part's blasphemy, Alex? You tell me in the comments section so that I can tell you you're wrong. Zach says DC movies are like being in an abusive relationship. You keep saying it's going to get better, but you just keep getting fucked up. That's brilliant. That should be on magazines. Well done, Zach. But yeah, so I guess we're kind of in agreement. We don't think that the lack of promotion is an indication that the movie is going to be bad. What's your gut tell you, Dan? Is this going to be a good movie?
Ask my gut later. My gut doesn't want to bet on whether or not Wonder Woman's going to be good, because my heart wants it to be good. Like, I want it to be awesome and enjoyable, fun to watch, even if it's just competently made. So the movie Age of Ultron is an example of something where there are some shitty movies like Troll 2, these really bad B movies, but you watch them for fun because they're so bad they're fun to watch. Age of Ultron is the exact opposite of that. Age of Ultron is a competently made movie that I don't think is very entertaining. Like, they didn't...
Sure.
There's no big glaring issues with it, but the way the characters interact and the story overall, I thought was pretty boring, especially compared to the rocking Avengers movie that came out before it. And I'm worried that the same thing is going to happen to this. They're going to put the color in, they're going to try and jam in a little comedy, they're going to put in an interesting setting, and I'm going to like all those things. But then the actual dialogue and the character interaction is not going to be enough to drive the movie forward. A lot of it also comes down to the actress.
I know.
Sorry, what's her name?
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot, yeah. She, in all the posters I've seen, it looks like she's rocking it. It looks like she's having a blast. So if Gadot can pull it off, I think that her energy could carry the movie.
Yeah, it's funny. She was so great in Batman v Superman, but we didn't really get a lot of her, right?
No.
So that was a huge concern. Look, people said that they were like, when she got cast. Well, yeah, but when she got cast, people were like, I don't know, dude, she can't act. And that's the thing. Like, if this movie sucks because she sucks, that's heartbreaking.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's heartbreaking. But I'm gonna have to call it like I see it. Like, like that's the thing. And I guess Alex said that he thinks it would be blasphemy if the Kryptonians end up being like the fathers of the Atlanteans and the Amazons. He thinks it would be blasphemy.
That would be quite a change. That would be definitely a change. It'd be interesting. It would damn well be interesting.
Yeah, it would be quite a change. But now, just because it would bother Alex, I want it even more. I want it even more. So, yeah, interesting stuff. I think we can close the book on the Wonder Woman controversy for now. And we're going to get into some Star Wars stuff, guys, because it is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you all. By the way, I do have a Star Wars video that's coming up on the channel later today. It talks about why I think this is the best time ever to be a Star Wars fan, and it addresses what we're going to talk about right now, too, which is, of course, the future of the Star Wars movies. So, this is May the 4th. And this is a day where we get to celebrate our love of Star Wars. And if you're anything like me, you're going to probably go out there and buy way too much stuff. So, I mean, this is just an awesome day. And I was thinking about what kind of a topic we could do on the show to express our love of Star Wars, but also give some good, interesting points and some content when it comes to it. So I want to address the possibility of Lucasfilm taking a step back away from the saga films. There have been rumors floating around that they're going to give as much as 6 years of space between the sagas. So before they even do a saga film, again, it would be 6 years from the release of Episode 9. What's even more crazy is there are also rumors that they will abandon the saga films completely and instead focus on television and standalone pictures. So Dan, what do you think about this? Do you think it would be wise for them to put some space in between the saga films? And what do you think about them abandoning the saga films completely?
As far as abandoning the saga goes, I feel like that's kind of the direction that movies are going to take. Like, for the past, 15 years have we been on the trilogy format? And I'm so sick of trilogies. I am going to throw up just 3 times because of how many trilogies, or how sure you are that something is going to be a trilogy. And I get it. I get that it makes 100% financial sense. You make a big, awesome movie, and that movie bankrolls the pre-production on 2 and 3, so you can make those and make more money off of them, even though they're going to get less people coming to see them by default because they're sequels.
Yep.
So it makes a lot of sense. And now with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and some rumors that some other production companies have done, like, you know, the Evil Dead reboot is supposed to be all drafted together into a big, like, alternate timeline Evil Dead IP. Yep. That looks pretty cool, and I think that's the direction things are going to go. And I think we've gone to this chunk of, we've got trilogies that people are trying to bunch into this combined film world, and we're going to now move on to the next section where films are interconnected without necessarily having direct sequels, which I think is the first step of getting away from this reboot hell that we're in too. So this could be good. The wave after the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the wave after the saga films for Star Wars, if those two big IPs start doing a different format, I think we'll see that kind of trickle down into the smaller studios. It could be really healthy for the industry.
Yeah, that's true. You know, there are issues with the trilogy format. Mostly, I think, like, you kind of know what to expect in the second, and you kind of know what to expect in the third movie as well. Like, they have to kind of adhere to that formula. When it comes to Star Wars specifically, I think that the trilogy format is important. I think it was kind of one of the first to do it super successfully. So I think there's something to be said for possibly doing it again, but I have no problem with them taking a long time away from it. I mean, for God's sake, like, one of the things that we're most interested in as Star Wars fans is the space between the trilogies. That's what everybody wants to know about. Everybody wants to know about Luke Skywalker. What the hell was he doing exactly? You know, before episode. Why is he grumpy now? You know what I mean? Like, why is he just the old guy? I saw this perfect thing, and I might have mentioned it last week, where it has the shot of him standing in the cave, and he literally said, the headline is something like, "Local man quits everything." And I thought it was perfect, because that is kind of where Luke is at right now, and I want to see what got him there. So, but I think they need, they don't want to oversaturate their own market, and I'm okay with them taking a step back. There was all these rumors that they were going to go to 2 films a year. I kind of don't want 2 Star Wars films a year. And I'm the hugest Star Wars fan ever. I think you get, look, there's no shortage of Star Wars content. You can take a look around my desk. There's no shortage of the content.
There's a lot to read and digest and take in.
Exactly.
New canon, old canon. There's a ton.
Exactly.
And they hinted at what stories going on until the 2030s. They were like an overarching story.
Well, they said they literally have plans to do Star Wars movies until 2030, and like, I totally get that. I also think that they have to keep an eye on the industry, right? They don't want to get too wrapped up in it, because here's the thing: if this Inhumans show/movie thing works, if that's big, then replicate that. You know what I mean? Then do that with Star Wars. That would be amazing. I'd love to see that.
I saw that as well, that they might focus less on the trilogy big movie production, and then kind of do the hybrid TV entertainment, movie entertainment kind of thing. Which, by the way, Disney is already doing very heavily with everything. They have a Disney Channel they have to base on their classic cartoon characters, and they already have a ton of Marvel cartoons and TV shows. So, I mean, it's only a matter of time before we have Rebels right now, which is great, and Clone Wars from 2003 was sick. So I'm more Star Wars miniseries, more Star Wars cartoons on TV. Let's go. Let's do it.
You know what I'd like to see too? A Netflix show. A Netflix Star Wars show. Like, give us that 1313 show that George Lucas was working on. And there's actually a cool little nod to that in the Thrawn novel, because she's on, Governor Price gets on level, because the whole idea of 1313 is that it's literally a level on the city, because the cities are so big they drop into levels. Okay. And as you get lower, closer to the ground, there's less law enforcement. Things are pretty brutal. So she's in 1713, Governor Price, and it's like awful. She has to like be on guard constantly. So the idea with 1313 was that it's the underworld. It's the underbelly of Coruscant. Okay. So like, I totally want that.
Yes.
And I kind of say this too in the video that's going to go up later today. What I really want, I think what we all want, is Old Republic. Give us Old Republic. Game of Thrones, different houses, different, bids of power, flawed characters, people that, have offshoots of the belief of the Jedi, and a bajillion lightsabers. A lightsaber in every hand. You know what I mean? I just think that would be terrific for them. And if they did, like, let's say they did a Old Republic trilogy, as opposed to, even though you hate trilogy, but as opposed to like going right into the next saga, I would be all about that. So
to be honest, I more have the vibe from Old Republic as being one of those cartoons or hybrid cartoons. I could definitely see Star Wars, the Old Republic on Cartoon Network.
Dude, I would lose my mind. Like, that would be perfect. And I agree with you. I think that you could, because we want to live in that world a little longer than maybe 90 minutes or so. Like, I really want to dive deep in there. So it could be ideal for them for the animated shows, like you're saying.
I think the farther removed the setting or the timeline is from the main characters and the saga characters, the more likely it is to get a hybrid media than its own devotional movie. I think we can expect the non-saga movies to be very Rogue One-esque and fill in the timelines between the other big movies. Kind of thing. But then in the TV shows and the comic books and all that, we'll see all kinds of little extras that the fans who will watch the Star Wars movies and then go, what can I read about that, are going to want to go see. You wouldn't want to make a Star Wars movie and have people in the audience go like, I didn't watch that fucking Disney Channel show. I have no idea what's going on.
So now I have no idea. Right. That's true. That's very true. I just want to address a couple things from the chat. Zach says, yes, Old Republic, been saying it for years. Hell yeah, brother. He also asks about the Thrawn novel. Zach, if you read the old Heir to the Empire books, you will absolutely love it. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Even if you can't read, you will love Thrawn. Thrawn is an incredible novel. I put a review up on the channel. Go check that out. But honestly, it gives us the Thrawn we've been looking for. It is incredible. He's like Sherlock Holmes, and you really get to be inside his head. And they've established a lot of cool stuff from canon. And please stop me from going too nerdy here, but his like the red eyes of the Chiss can see infrared, so he can see as someone's face flushes and the blood goes to their face, and he makes all these like conclusions based upon what's going on in their physiology, and it's fascinating, dude. He is like, he's sharp as a tack and as ruthless as ever. But also, he fights for honor. And the reason he ends up working with the Empire is a really good fucking reason. So I really like the Thrawn novel a lot. Sorry, I had to go on a little tangent there. But,
hey, no problem. That wasn't a tangent. That was actually the perfect transition into our last topic, our favorite Star Wars stuff. So I went ahead and brought Thrawn up, and we're already talking about that.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so we wanted to just kind of, and please, this is cool. If you're watching this, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it later, hit us up, man. Let us know about your favorite moment in Star Wars. I love this kind of stuff. So let's I just want to ask you, Dan. I mean, like, you love Star Wars. What's some of your like favorite moments from Star Wars? Either like watching it, like something that was on the screen, or something like a moment you had with somebody.
So I'm 26 years old, which means that when Phantom Menace came out, I was 8.5. So I was really excited to go see Star Wars in the movie theater. I had nothing but my mom and my dad telling me about how they saw Star Wars in the movie theater, and it was so, like, no one expected that there'd be another batch of Star Wars movies. So, of course, I'm 8. I'm so hyped to go see the Star Wars in a movie theater. And honestly, at that age, I was not disappointed. People were flipping lightsabers around, and I was really introduced to kind of the thing that got me so hooked on Star Wars. And it's weird. It's kind of weird, because it's not like a big thing or like a super iconic character. But this thing right here, this Super Destroyer, whatever, Droid Deka, blew my mind as a little kid. When those two Trade Federation guys are like, not even 2 Jedi can stand against the Droid Deka. I was just like, what? Yeah. There's robots that can fight a Jedi? Holy shit. I bought every droid toy. I bought all the little tanks that carry the droids. I had Trade Federation battle blockade ships. The Trade Federation was my favorite part of Star Wars for the longest time, which is hilarious because no one likes the Trade Federation at all.
People
Now.
hate
It's
him,
literally hated by everyone.
That's changing because the people like us that were younger when we watched the prequels, now we're like, I don't want to say influencers because we're not, but like we're at least voices within the community.
I mean, we're the people they're making Star Wars for. They're making it for everybody, but that's enough people who were excited about sequels. That
for sure, there's been an influx of prequel sympathizers into this community because we're all getting older now, and so I think that stigma is going to go away eventually. But as for me, for some of my favorite moments, so I have this cool relationship with Star Wars because when I was pretty young, I remember being at my aunt's, and they were watching, I believe it was Return of the Jedi, because my Uncle Butch is like a huge Star Wars guy. He really likes Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And so they were watching it, and I remember just being like watching the Sarlacc and seeing the Sarlacc pit thing, and I was like really, really intrigued as a young person. And then because I was, I was over there a lot, we would like stay at, Aunt Cindy's, for weekends and weeks at a time.
Right.
And so they had the original VHS, and so that I would watch them over and over again. Like I loved them. I loved those movies as a kid. But one of my favorite moments of Star Wars was watching Attack of the Clones in the theater, and when Yoda whipped that lightsaber on, I shit you not, this older lady, like she must have been at least 60, stood up out of her chair and goes, "Kick his ass, Yoda, kick his ass!" like that. And what ensued after that was amazing. Like it was perfect. So that was one of my favorite moments that I wanted to bring up because it was like super funny. Also, as a senior in high school, I dressed up in a black robe with my best buddy at the time, Adam Palou, and we went to see Revenge of the Sith dressed up with lightsabers as seniors in high school, which was also really, really cool. But
Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah.
Sith me too. I had a lightsaber. Yeah. Who didn't? I know, but okay, who didn't? The other 45 people in the movie theater, because the four of us were the only people dressed up, bunch of nerds. But it was so cool.
Yeah, man. It was fun, man. Yeah, and then I remember after we watched that, we went home because the end of Sith is really cool, just because it kind of ties in to A New Hope a little bit. You know what I mean? And then we went right back. It was like 4 a.m. We went to school the next day. We went back to his house and put on A New Hope, and we all passed out watching A New Hope. But like, it was just cool, man. You know what I mean? To have that connected. Yeah, so I liked it. People are saying some of their favorite stuff. My favorite Star Wars is Star Wars by Brandon Williams. Thanks for that, B. I always like jumping into the extended universe, is what Zach says. I have 2 lightsabers in my trunk just in case. That's awesome. It's awesome to carry around lightsabers. Yeah, for sure. Always a good idea. But that's pretty much going to wrap it for us for the Nerdy News Hour on May the 4th. I honestly hope that all of you guys are having an awesome and nerdy day. I hope you're going to go out there, experience some Star Wars stuff if you're into it. If not, maybe check out Guardians or whatever your thing is. That's what we're about, man. The love of the things that you love. So check that out. Dan, where can people find you online, and what kind of stuff are you working on?
Well, right now I'm focusing on Instagram, so make sure you follow me there. I'm anime__Dan on Instagram, and you'll get to see all kinds of great nerd stuff, memes. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. He's doing some cool stuff on Instagram. Honestly, some of the food he made, I'm a vegetarian, but those meatballs look pretty good, I gotta say.
Oh,
they
thanks.
Look pretty good. Yeah, you're welcome. And obviously Dan's into the Pokemon stuff too, so check him out on Instagram. I do a lot of stuff on Instagram too. I like Instagram, so check me out on Instagram. Josh Likes Comics with an X. You can of course find me on the Den of Nerds. We've got some cool content that should be coming out over the weekend. We've got some Gwent. Justin's got a Gwent video. I think he's got 2 Gwent videos that might go up. So if you're into The Witcher, you're kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, if you like The Witcher, or if you're into Hearthstone, Gwent is kind of trying to like take over that game space. So if you're into online card games, check out our Gwent videos. They're going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure. I think that you might enjoy those a lot. We've got the DLC characters coming out.
Yes, a lot of Injustice 2 coverage. It's going to be down the pipe.
Injustice 2 coverage.
That's going to be cool. We got a couple minutes here. I just want to throw it out there. Did you guys see the Joker from Injustice 2? What do you think?
Yeah.
Like, he's so meme-worthy right now. I didn't hate it when I first saw it, but then after reading, like, pages and pages of hate, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, they could have just just make him the fucking Joker, right? What's wrong with just the crushed velvet suit and the flower and the hair? Why can't you just do the Joker? Like, why does he have to be all taking his shirt off and I don't know. So edgy, the Joker these days. Fucking edgy.
They've they're really treating the Joker poorly, I feel like, in the last couple of years. I mean, with the Leto thing and then this now. But see, like, that's part of the mythos of the Joker. I was explaining this to someone in the comments section on the YouTube channel. I was like, guys, that's kind of the Joker's thing. Whenever he rolls up, he's different. And they even play off of that. In some of the stories, they're like, are there multiple Jokers? You know what I mean? Because throughout time, every time he shows up, I mean, like, to the writing as well, he has different tics, he has different things. Like, he's so fucking crazy that, like, it's almost a different Joker every time that he shows up. For my own part, I don't necessarily hate the look. I mean,
no, it doesn't make it, it's not out of place or glaring or anything.
Well, it's just plus he's got armor, hopefully, right? We can suit him up.
You'll be able to change his costume anyways to
Put a goddamn mask on his face.
Right?
I don't want to look at that head flip. For sure. Patrick says he looks so bad. Everyone hates him.
You want to know how I got these bangs?
That's perfect. That's beautiful. We might put that on all the videos. Yeah, that's awesome. So check that out, guys. We're all super hyped on Injustice 2. We're going to be playing that. Might cover the mobile game a little bit when it comes out, too, just because I feel like they did good with that. They're going to drop it on the 11th. People are going to go crazy with their anticipation. I almost bought Injustice 1. In fact, I was online trying to convince Brandon, if he's still watching, I was trying to convince Brandon and Angelo to buy Injustice 1 so that we could play it, and they were like, no, dude.
The second one's just about to come out, yeah.
I know.
11 days.
I know, and I'm like, fuck that, I can't wait. So, yeah, that's the level of hype I am at for Injustice 2. So check out our coverage. Going to be doing a lot of stuff before the game comes out and when the game comes out. Make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got a ton of cool content on there. Hit us up in the comment section. Love to converse with you guys, and that is all for today. May the 4th be with you guys always.